Hi, this is Nancy Buswell, and you are listening to the Listen and Repeat podcast, episode 93. This is To Build a Fire, part 2, based on the short story by Jack London. Listen and repeat. Copy how my voice goes up and down. As he turned to go on, he spat speculatively. Spat is old English. The British may use it, I'm not sure, but the Americans don't use it anymore. It's the past tense or the old past tense of spit. Today I spit, yesterday I spit. But spat is the old one. There was a sharp, explosive crackle that startled him. He spat again. And again, in the air, before it could fall to the snow, the spittle crackled. He knew that at 50 below, spittle crackled on the snow. But this spittle had crackled in the air. Undoubtedly, it was colder than 50 below. How much colder, he did not know. But the temperature did not matter. Americans say temperature. It looks like temperature. We usually say temperature. He was bound for the old claim on the left fork of Henderson Creek. Where the boys were already. They had come over across the divide from the Indian Creek country. While he had come the roundabout way to take a look at the possibilities of getting out logs in the spring from the islands in the Yukon. The Yukon River. He would be in to camp by 6 o'clock. A bit after dark, it was true. But the boys would be there. A fire would be going. And a hot supper would be ready. As for lunch, he pressed his hand against the protruding, it's hard to say the the RR, protruding bundle under his jacket. Sorry about that. That's a hard word. We don't usually say that word. We read it. It was also under his shirt. Wrapped up in a handkerchief and lying against the naked skin. Notice the word handkerchief. It looks like handkerchief, but it's pronounced handkerchief. It was the only way to keep the biscuits from freezing. Now, in this case, biscuits is not the British English biscuit, which is what Americans call cookies. It's, what is an American biscuit? It's similar to, it's a kind of bread. We'll just put it that way. Yeah. He smiled agreeably to himself as he thought of those biscuits. each cut open and sopped in bacon grease, and each enclosing a generous slice of fried bacon. He plunged in among the big spruce trees. The trail was faint. A foot of snow had fallen since the last sled had passed over. And he was glad he was without a sled, traveling light. In fact, he carried nothing but the lunch wrapped in the handkerchief. He was surprised, however, at the cold. It certainly was cold, he concluded, as he rubbed his numbed nose and cheekbones with his mittened hand. He was a warm-whiskered man, but the hair on his face did not protect the high cheekbones. And the eager nose that thrust itself aggressively into the frosty air. At the man's heels trotted a dog. A big native husky, the proper wolf dog. Gray-coated and without any visible or temperamental difference from its brother, the wild wolf. The animal was depressed by the tremendous cold. It knew that it was no time for traveling. Its instinct told it a truer tale than was told to the man by the man's judgment. In reality, it was not merely colder than 50 below zero. It was colder than 60 below, than 70 below. It was 75 below zero. I didn't know that was possible. Okay, since the freezing point is 32 above zero, okay, so here it's talking about Fahrenheit, which is what the U.S. uses. So 0 Celsius, 0 C is what is 32 F. So anything below 32 is below freezing. So 75 below. Oh my goodness. I really didn't know it was possible to get that cold. It makes me cold just reading this. Let's go on. It meant that 107 degrees of frost obtained. The dog did not know anything about thermometers. Possibly in its brain there was no sharp consciousness of a condition of very cold, such as was in the man's brain. But the brute had its instinct. Brute here, of course, is the dog. Brute is like an animal, not a very common word, like a wild animal. It experienced a vague but menacing apprehension that subdued it. And made it slink along at the man's heels. And that made it question eagerly every unwanted movement of the man. As if expecting him to go into camp. Or to seek shelter somewhere and build a fire. The dog had learned fire, and it wanted fire. Or else to burrow under the snow and cuddle its warmth away from the air. Okay, that's enough for today. I hope you found this useful. I hope you're not too cold reading about all those cold temperatures. I don't know where you are. Where I am, it's cool. I'm in southern China. It's cool, it's not cold. I hope wherever you are, you're warm, whether you're inside or outside. So thanks for listening, and I hope you have a good day.